For today's lab, you're thinking about what does dissolving mean and what makes it happen, and what does melting mean and what makes that happen. You're going to be doing two series of experiments today, two labs in one day. The first lab, you're going to have a setup with some plastic cups and Dixie cups. First thing you'll do, get yourself a styrofoam cup and get some hot water. Also, fill up a small amount of cold water into one of the clear plastic cups. You don't need that much, just the bottom third of the cup of cold water should be fine. First thing you'll do is you'll get back, you'll put your hot water into one cup, cold water into the other cup, just like you see in the picture. Notice the fill line is about halfway up. Also, you'll find two Dixie cups. In one of the Dixie cups, you'll find four chocolate candies. They all should be the same color. You're going to put one chocolate candy into the hot water, one chocolate candy into the cold water, and then one into each of the Dixie cups, and then float the cups into the cold and hot water, just like you see in the picture on page 84 of your science notebook. Don't stir them, don't poke them, just observe them with your eyes. After about 5 minutes, you may complete the crush test if you'd like. Get a piece of paper towel and try to crush the chocolate candies with either a pencil or your finger. Be sure to wipe up any mess you make. As you're observing the lab, on page 85 there is a data table for you to complete, talking about there's two parts of the chocolate candy we're focusing on, the candy coating and the chocolate in the middle. What happens to it in hot air, cold water, hot air, and cold air. At the bottom of page 85 there are two questions for you to answer. You may work with your lab group. When you've completed page 85, you can move on to page 89 in your notebook. You can see the lab set up for this particular experiment. You're going to get a clear plastic tub. In the bottom of the tub, you want to have about halfway full of hot water. And then you're going to get 3 Dixie cups. In the first Dixie cup, you're going to get a piece of butter. In the second Dixie cup, you're going to get some sugar. And in the third Dixie cup is a piece of wax. What you're going to do is fill this up with hot water and then float the 3 cups into the water. Just float them in there. And observe what happens to the contents of the cups. While this is happening, while you're waiting for things to change possibly, please write down the procedure that you're doing for this lab. And as you're observing what happens to the margarine, you're predicting, will it melt? You're going to find the water temperature of the water by using a thermometer. You can just place that right in the side of the tub, determine the water temperature, and then observe what happens to each of the 3 substances, margarine, wax, and sugar. Fill out page 89. When you've completed page 89, you are done with the lab. You may clean up everything. Just place your Dixie cups and plastic cups into your lab tray the way you found them when you got there, and we'll swap those out later. Once your lab station is cleaned up, you can turn to page 87 and work on this page at your desk. There are a series of 6 questions to complete.